this is Elisa with XYZ Wellness, and I'm really glad to be able to share another class with you today, so I do hope you enjoy this. And for today's class, we're going to start out on our backs. So making your way onto your back, onto the floor, and we'll start either with our legs long, or you can have your knees bent, and that can be really nice if we're taking care of any tenderness or ache in the low back. So finding your comfortable position, again, either extending the legs or if you'd like to bend them. And then noticing the difference maybe between those two, seeing which feels better to you right now. And we can shift a little bit in our posture and our position here so we can find a neutral curve for the low back. So not necessarily having the low back pressing all the way down to the ground, but having a little lift, maybe filling up the space for a couple of fingers. And we'll relax the shoulders, maybe shifting around as we find that place where we can be settled and have a nice long spine, maybe closing the eyes or allowing them to stay just very softly open, whichever feels better to you. And in this position, we'll start to notice our hands. So hands could be palm down in a gesture of really feeling connected to the earth, or you could have your palms up, which I like to do. It's a gesture of receiving. And regardless of which one you choose, feeling the shoulders, allowing them to relax underneath the body, and you might shift a little bit so you can find some expansion across the front of the shoulders and the chest. And as we're beginning to find a place of stillness here now, we'll just start to notice the breath. Inhaling, creating a sense of expansion, and then exhaling, letting go. And as we start to notice that breath, it might be really helpful here to take in a breath through the nose and then exhale, a big audible sigh out the mouth. So we can come to that ah breath, maybe one or two more times, whatever feels good to you. Noticing how nice it feels to empty completely, letting go with that out breath. Maybe remembering just how good that feels for when you're off your yoga mat. Anytime you need to, knowing that you can come to that same feeling, coming back to the breath. And as we just come back to more of our natural breath, inhaling and exhaling, we might even think to ourselves on that in-breath, I breathe in, and then on the out-breath, I breathe out. So silently to yourself thinking, I breathe in, I breathe out. And using that as a simple mantra, a way of connecting the mind to the breath, allowing our parasympathetic nervous system to help us to slow down, getting out of that fight or flight mode. And as you continue to watch your breath, noticing any parts of the body that might be feeling tight or achy, and directing the breath into those places. Relaxing and softening the skin of the forehead, and the place between the eyebrows. Relaxing the throat and the jaw, the back of the neck. Feeling the shoulders sink a little deeper into the ground, and noticing the entire back of the body, any part of your body that is resting on the mat. Allowing all those places to become a little heavier on the earth. Feeling the ground rising up to support and to hold you. We'll take just one or two more breaths right here. to invite some movement to the body. So that might be wiggling the fingers and the toes. Or maybe we can reach the arms overhead and find a big good morning stretch. Growing long from the toes to the fingers, creating space between each and every vertebrae. And then if you've taken that big stretch, we'll bring arms back down alongside the body and bending the knees, bringing the feet to the floor. We can find some windshield wipers. So maybe taking your feet as wide as the yoga mat and just starting to sway the knees from one side to the other. Getting into the hips. Not only going as far as feels good here, so not needing to go all the way to either direction. Again, honoring any sensations in your low back. And as we move through the practice, always honoring your body. So if you notice any areas that might feel tight or achy, or just a particular position doesn't feel good, honoring your body and finding what does feel good. So we'll do just one or two more like this. And then coming back to center, we'll bring our feet back more in alignment with our hips. And as we inhale here, we'll let the low back, now we'll let the low back come towards the earth. And with our exhale, we'll bring the left knee in towards the chest, holding on behind the thigh, flexing that foot. So we draw that knee in, noticing any sensations into the lower back or to the hip, or maybe even to the other side, the side with the foot on the floor. We'll inhale and set that left foot down. And as we exhale, we'll bring the right knee in. Again, flexing the foot, spreading the toes. Being aware of any differences between the two sides of the body. And then we'll start to change sides with our breath. So inhaling to lower, exhaling, bringing a leg in. Inhaling down, and then exhaling, switching sides. So I invite you here to move at the pace and the power of your own breath. Not needing to keep pace with me or with anybody else. And that bottom leg can stay bent, or if you'd like, you can extend that leg. That might be a nice stretch for the hip flexor on the front of that thigh, but only if you keep both hips down and only if the low back feels safe. So if you notice any discomfort in the low back with the legs extended, then keeping the knees bent. We'll switch from one side to the other. Maybe starting to add arms in, so you can raise the arms overhead and then draw the arms in when you draw a knee. Again, choosing whatever options feel good to you. So if it feels uncomfortable having those legs extended, we could come back to that bent knee version. Or we could take the arms out of the equation. Picking and choosing whatever feels good to you. So we switch. We're doing this a few times, really trying to warm up the lower body, wake up the hip flexors. And our hip flexors get tight from a lot of sitting. And they also get tight from a lot of emotion. So sometimes when we're carrying a lot of stress or strain, we kind of contract and curl in, so we're trying to open some of that up. We'll make this one the last one on this side, at least as we're flowing. And then the next time we bring the left leg in, we're going to start to point and flex that left foot. Bring into the ankle joint, the lower leg. You can spread those toes as we're pointing and flexing. And starting to make some circles, leading with the left big toe. We'll go in both directions. And very slowly and carefully, we'll lower that left foot down to the floor. We'll bring the right knee in, and we'll do that same movement for the ankle, pointing and flexing. then starting to make our circles. And they don't have to be perfect, just whatever they are. We'll go in both directions. And then bringing that right foot down to the ground. We'll bend the left knee to meet the right knee. We'll move through bridge pose. So placing the arms down next to the body. Feet are in line with our hips. We'll inhale, and very slowly as we press the feet down, we'll peel the tailbone and then the vertebrae one at a time away from the ground. Inhaling, and then exhaling to lower. So using our inhale to lift, feeling that opening across the front, and exhaling down. Every time we inhale, lifting, we're pressing the feet into the ground to lift higher, and using the exhale to return to the earth. Strengthening the back of the body, specifically into the lower back, the glutes and the hamstrings. And again, finding your flow, your own perfect rhythm, your pace. Maybe pausing as you lift into your bridge, finding some strength for the back of the body, opening for the front. You might choose to add arms overhead. Remembering arms are always optional. Only adding them if it adds to your practice. Keeping that navel drawing in towards the low back. That's going to help strengthen or protect the low back. And just one more time after this one. And then coming all the way down to the floor. Either pausing here with the knees bent, or you can bring one and then the other knee into the chest, giving ourselves a little hug. Staying still, or maybe beginning to circle the knees either together, or you could circle them independently, like A beaters. Getting a massage from the ground if we're moving. Or staying still, if that is what your body needs. Bring our feet down to the floor. We'll turn to one side, using our hands to help us lift into tabletop pose. So stacking hands underneath shoulders, knees are under hips. First finding our neutral table. And then as we inhale, we'll extend the heart forward into cow pose, letting that belly drop. Exhaling, we'll drop the tailbone, rounding through one vertebra at a time, bringing chin to the chest for cat. Starting back with that tailbone as we inhale, letting the tailbone lift, belly drops, heart opens forward. Exhaling, tailbone, all the way to the crown of the head, pushing that floor away from us with a strong upper body. Giving yourself a massage. So especially if we're feeling stressed out, it might feel really even better than normal to move through this cat and cow combination. Allowing the shoulder blades to draw towards the spine when we come into cow pose. And then as we exhale for cat pose, noticing the shoulders draw away from each other, protracted. Inhaling, the belly drops, so letting that belly go for cow, and then as we exhale, the belly draws in. So these two poses really mirror each other, and they help us to take care of the entire spine, the torso, the front and the back. So you can stay just like this with our cat and cow, or if you'd like, we can turn this more into a bird dog pose. So we'll find ourselves in a neutral position first. And then as we exhale, we'll start to set our hips back towards child's pose. So maybe not coming all the way back, but extending those hips towards the heels. And then as we inhale, we'll come forward into either tabletop or cow. Exhaling, maybe choosing to round the spine this time as we come back into child's. And then inhaling forward. So you can see it's almost like a flowing cat and cow now. Moving with the power of your breath and moving as slowly as feels good. So not needing to rush through this combination. But just taking care of yourself, noticing the beauty of the movement, and maybe even allowing the eyes to close as we flow. Just one more round like this. Coming back into our table pose. We're going to add in a flow for the shoulders. We're going to do thread the needle. So again, first finding your neutral position. Toes can be flat on the ground or they can be tucked under. And we're going to inhale, opening the right arm to the sky, turning our gaze up if that feels okay. And as we exhale, we'll bend that left elbow, bringing the right arm through, letting it hover above the earth. Inhaling. We'll turn to the right once again, opening the chest towards the sky, and then exhaling, coming through, threading that needle. So we'll do this twisting movement a few times, getting into the torso. And again, only looking up if that feels okay to the neck. And then this next time, we'll bring the right arm to the floor. The right ear can come down as well. And we'll press that right forearm into the mat, getting into the back of the right shoulder. Left hand can stay as it is. You might choose to walk it forward, or if you want to stretch for that left shoulder as well, you can lift the arm to the sky or open that shoulder by bringing the left hand to the right hip. So several different options there, choosing whatever feels best to you. As we find a stretch for that right shoulder. If that's too much, at any point you can come back into tabletop, move through cat and cow. And then slowly we'll make our way out of that. So returning the left hand to wherever we started. And then lifting up, bringing the right hand in line with the left, so they're directly under the shoulders once again. And maybe noticing how we're feeling, how that side feels, as we add some movement. So it might be some circles for the hips, it might be a little more cat and cow. Maybe you could rest back in the child's pose. Getting ready to come to that other side, so finding some stillness in our tabletop. We'll inhale, this time opening the left arm to the sky. Choosing to look up if that feels okay. And then as we exhale, winding through, bringing that left arm, letting it cover a few inches off the ground. Inhaling, opening, turning, and exhaling, threading that needle. Always letting the breath lead us as we flow. We'll do just one more time like this. Exhale, bringing the left arm through, left ear and cheek can come to the floor. Hips are stacked over the knees yet as we make a decision for that right arm. Any of those options that we had on the other side, and not needing both sides to look the same. So we might choose something different depending upon how that right shoulder is feeling. And again, to get a little more for the left shoulder, pressing the left forearm, the left wrist into the ground. Exiting the pose anytime you might need to. Then from here we'll make our way out of the pose. So bringing the right hand back to where we started in front of the left wrist. And back into our table. And finding any counter movement that you might want here. Noticing if you maybe feel a little more balance between the two sides of the body, if both shoulders are feeling a little more open. And just one more breath here. Coming through neutral. We'll sit our hips back, this time into child's pose. Either keeping the knees closer together or maybe separating them a little wider towards the edges of the mat to make more room for the body. Allowing us to sink a little deeper into this child's pose. Rocking the forehead on the mat. And just noticing, sometimes our forehead might not make it all the way down to the ground. And if not, we could bring our hands or a block underneath the forehead. And then still finding that rocking motion, massaging the place between the eyebrows, that place of our third eye, our intuition, or our inner knowledge, our inner wisdom. Maybe even noticing how that feels into the back of the neck as we massage the forehead. And then slowing this down, you could stay right here in child's pose if that's feeling good, if you're happy here. Or if you'd like, we can lift into a downward facing dog. So first thing, if we had our knees wide, we'll bring them closer together in line with our hips. And then we'll crawl those fingertips towards the top of the mat, tucking the toes under. We'll lift hips to the sky. Starting first by keeping both knees very bent. Feet are about hip distance apart. And then if you'd like, we can walk our dog, lowering one heel to the ground as we bend the opposite knee a little more. And then switching from one side to the other, walking your dog, waking up the feet and the ankles, stretching out our calf muscles. Knowing that anytime we're in child's pose or downward facing dog, actually, we can lower our knees and come to child's pose. You don't need to stay here if at any point it gets uncomfortable or you just want to take a break. Always honoring what your body is telling you at any given moment. From here, we'll lift onto the balls of the feet, lifting both heels away from the ground. And as we exhale, lowering heels towards the earth, pressing the chest back towards the legs, letting our gaze rest towards the toes, and lifting through the pelvic floor, engaging root lock, Mula Bandha. Noticing that belly button drawing in as well, engaging Uddiyana Bandha. We'll press that floor away from us with strong arms. On our next in-breath, we'll look forward. And then with that strength of the core, as we exhale, taking a walk to the front of the mat, coming into forward fold. Finding a little ragdoll, gently swaying from one side to the other. Slowing down that movement as we soften our knees. We'll inhale, finding a reverse swan dive. Exhaling, hands come to the heart. Rooting the feet into the ground, feeling both feet pressing equally into the earth. Finding the four corners. The mound of the big toe, and the base of the baby toe. The inner edge of the heel, and the outer edge of the heel. Rooting down to those four places as we lift through the arches. Maybe even spreading the toes. To notice that arch a little more, that lift in the arches. Allowing the arches to stay lifted as we bring the toes back down towards the floor. Bringing arms down alongside the body, staying in our mountain pose. We're going to come to a little bit of a lateral flexion. We'll inhale, lifting that right arm up to the sky. Left fingertips are down, and we can look in either direction, turning the chin either up or down. Exhaling, we'll lower that right arm. We'll inhale, lifting the left arm up, creating space between both hands. And exhaling down. As we move from one side to the other, creating space on one side, we'll be shorten the other side. Flowing with the pace and the power of your breath. And another movement, another way to move the spine. We move our spine through cat and cow, flexing and extending, and now we're laterally flexing the spine, or laterally extending the spine. Depending upon how you look at it. Going from one side to the other. And it's really more about lifting up and lengthening, and then maybe that little bit of a side bend. We'll do one more time to each direction after this one. And then coming back to the top of our mat, we'll start to move through a swan dive. So keeping the knees soft in both directions, we're still in our mountain pose. We'll inhale, sweeping arms overhead. And then as we exhale, hinging at the hips, keeping the spine long, coming into forward fold, crown of the head towards the earth. Inhaling, deepening the bend in our knees as we lift with arms out to the side to protect the low back. Exhaling. Bending the elbows also to protect the shoulders. Inhaling, lifting, and exhaling, lowering. So keep those elbows and knees soft to protect the shoulders, protect the low back, protect the hamstrings. So when we bend the elbows and the knees, we're shortening that lever. Shortening the lever of the arms, shortening the lever of the legs. One more big inhale. This time as we come into our exhale, we're going to add a twist. So coming into that forward fold, hands could be on the floor, we can have our blocks. And we'll take our right hand to the left ankle or to the calf, wherever feels good, and then you have the option of using the block. We'll inhale to extend the spine, and as we exhale, we'll twist to the left. We'll make sure that the right knee is very bent. Again, maybe turning to look at that left hand, or we can turn to look at the right hand, whatever feels better to you. Exhale, we'll bring the left arm down. We'll switch to the other side. Left hand comes anywhere along that right leg or the block, and we'll inhale, extending. And then exhaling, turning to the right. Looking up and looking down. Keeping that left knee deeply bent. And as we exhale, coming into forward fold. Drawing the navel up towards the sky. Engaging that strong core center as we get ready to lift. Bending the knees. Inhale. Reverse swan dive. As we exhale, we're going to come this time into airplane pose, hugging forearms in towards the upper body, keeping our spine long. Inhaling, we'll sit into chair pose, lifting through the heart. And then as we exhale, coming into forward fold, turning that into a little bit of a flow as we inhale, lifting. Exhaling to hinge at the hips, keeping a long spine going along from tailbone to the top of the head. And then exhaling, or inhaling, we'll sit into chair. Exhaling this time, forward fold. And we'll do that just one more time. Big inhale, reverse swan dive. Exhaling, finding airplane pose, drawing arms in towards the body. Maybe giving those fingers a little wiggle. Inhaling, sit into those strong legs for chair pose. Weight of the body comes towards the heels. Toes might even lift. Exhaling, finding your forward fold, keeping knees bent as much as you'd like. Inhaling, we'll take a reverse swan dive. And exhaling, hands come to the heart. Relaxing shoulders down away from the ears. And feeling our good, strong posture here. Ears are over shoulders, shoulders are aligned with hips, and hips are over the ankles. Maybe rolling the shoulders back and down, finding a lift through the heart. Inhaling, palms to the sky. We'll exhale, bringing hands together at the heart. And then stepping the left foot back, finding warrior one. Right foot is facing the top of your mat, left foot can be at an angle, so angle towards the top left corner. And we'll inhale arms, maybe into traditional warrior arms. Now we want to make sure that the right knee is over the ankle and that the left heel is pressing into the mat. So if your left heel is up, and maybe stepping in a little closer so you can have that connection and allow both feet, both legs to hold equal weight of the body. Relaxing the jaw here. We'll inhale and then exhale, bringing arms back. We'll straighten that front leg, little micro bend in the knee. And then inhaling, sit back into your warrior one. Exhaling, you draw the arms back. Inhaling to sit down. So as we're flowing here, if that breath doesn't feel natural to you, that breath pattern, just allowing the breath to flow. One more time like this. And then we'll sit into our warrior one. Again, letting that gaze be soft, relaxing the jaw and the throat. On our next in-breath, we'll turn the torso towards the left side. Coming into warrior two. Right knee is still over the ankle. And maybe stepping that left foot a little wider, creating more room for the body. Shoulders are directly over hips. So if we find ourselves leaning forward, being aware of that, and coming a little more upright. Turning our gaze out towards the right fingertips. Flipping the front palm towards the sky. We'll inhale, lifting, taking a reverse warrior. Left hand can be on the left thigh, or around the low back, coming into a reverse cradle. Letting our gaze come up towards that top hand, or down to the floor. Still sitting down into those strong legs. On an in-breath, we'll find ourselves back in warrior two. Bending that front elbow, we'll bring the forearm down to the thigh, sitting into side angle pose. Right forearm's on the thigh, left hand is on the hip, but lifting out of that front leg. So being really careful to not just collapse here, but lifting, opening the heart. Left hand can stay on the hip, or maybe lifting to the sky, opening the heart towards the sky, or extending forward into an extended side angle pose. One more breath right here. And as we anchor the left foot into the floor, we're going to use the whole left side of the body, lifting back into warrior two. Cartwheeling the arms, coming into a runner's lunge. Stepping the right foot back. First finding downward facing dog. Maybe adding some movement. And then lowering knees to the floor. Finding any variation of child's pose that feels good in this moment. So that might have arms in front of the body, or you can choose to bring hands back around the feet. Pausing to check in and to notice. Noticing how the body's feeling right now. Being aware of any sensations into the hips, the shoulders. Feeling as you take a breath in how the belly expands towards the legs. Feeling that expansion to the back ribs, the side ribs as well. And then as you breathe out, the belly naturally draws in. That expansion and contraction with the in and the out breath. Extending the arms forward. And again, for First, bringing knees into alignment with the hips if they were wide. Always starting there. As we crawl fingertips towards the top of the mat, we'll spread them into starfish hands, tucking toes under to lift into another downward facing dog. Engaging the belly, engaging the core. As we inhale and then exhaling, taking a walk to the top of your mat. Softening knees, inhale, reverse swan dive. And I'll just switch over to the other side, but you can stay exactly where you are as we get ready to do that on the other side. So bring hands to heart center as we find ourselves in that strong, powerful mountain pose. Stepping the right foot back this time for warrior one. Again, making sure both feet are anchoring down. You want to have equal weight on both legs. We'll square our upper body to the front of our mats. Inhaling, finding the warrior one. Arms can be lifted into that traditional warrior arms. Or you might choose to maybe find something different on this side. So maybe coming to cactus arms, finding an expansion for the chest and the shoulders. And as we move, remember your arms are optional. So you can inhale the arms up, and then exhale them into cactus. Or you can move the way we moved the first time. Inhaling, and then exhaling. So noticing that maybe we've changed our breath pattern a little bit here, and that's okay. The big important part of this is that we are breathing, letting the inhale and the exhale oxygenate our bodies. So we want to be very aware that we're not holding the breath. We'll do just one more time. And then sitting into our warrior. So we could have those cactus arms once again, or maybe finding shoulder expansion, chest expansion. Relaxing our eyes, letting the gaze be soft. And then getting ready to come into warrior two. So maybe lifting arms back into those traditional arms. We'll inhale, turning the torso to the right. Maybe spreading those feet a little wider, creating more space for the body. Keeping shoulders over the hips. And turning our gaze out towards those left fingertips if that feels okay. And remember, anytime we need to, we can release those arms, maybe giving them a little sweeping motion here for the shoulders. If you'd like, we can come into that reverse warrior, turning the front palm towards the sky, inhaling, lifting up. Left hand is over the shoulder as we sit down into those legs. Still keeping a sense of equanimity as we hold this pose. Coming back into warrior two. We'll bend the front elbow, bringing the forearm down to the thigh, coming into a side angle pose. Right hand can stay at the hip, or maybe lifting up to the sky, opening that chest towards the ceiling. Choosing to look up, or you can look down. And again, pressing that rear foot, the right foot, into the mat. We'll use the strength of the right side of the body to come back into warrior two. Cartwheeling the arms, bringing our bodies into a runner's lunge, and stepping left foot back to meet the right. And in this downward facing dog, taking an opportunity to add any bit of movement you might want, whether it's walking your dog once again. You could swivel the feet, getting into the side body. Or you might choose to add in a three-legged dog, lifting one leg to the sky, keeping both hips level and square to the floor. Or you can be perfectly still, honoring whatever your body wants and needs right now. And then from here, we'll all make our way into stillness, into child's pose, taking an opportunity to check in. Either keeping the arms extended forward or bringing them closer to the body. As we once again notice any sensations Notice what's happening for you in this moment without any type of judgments or stories. Inhale and look forward. We'll walk both hands towards the right edge of the mat, crawling the left fingertips, inching them forward, away from that left heel, the left hip. Moving across center, and this time reaching the right fingertips away from the right heel. Still keeping the hips sitting back. Inhaling to come forward. And then lifting into one last downward facing dog for the practice. Again, finding that root lock, lifting through the pelvic floor, engaging that pelvic floor to strengthen. Strengthening the belly as we draw there. Draw that in as well. Inhaling to look forward. And exhaling, strolling to the top of our mats. We'll inhale halfway, monkey pose, coming into a flat back, lengthening from the tailbone, back of the neck is long, and then exhaling, melting. Keeping that engagement in our core, lifting with a strong, straight spine. And exhaling, hands come to the space of your heart. Find yourselves back in mountain pose once again. We're going to get ready for our balance. So always thinking about starting our balance from a sense of center and strength. So we're in our mountain, we're rooting down through those four corners of the feet. We can find that expansion across the chest and shoulders. And we're going to start to shift the weight into the right leg. So as we do that, being very aware of both hips. And we'll come onto the toes of the left foot. So a gentle bend in the standing knee and a deeper bend in the left knee. And this may be where we choose to stay for our balance. So if it's appropriate, staying right here. Or if you'd like, maybe starting to come to the big toe or starting to lift that knee to any height. Still keeping the hips square. So being very aware of where the hips are. Because you can have that hip up or that knee up but be way out of alignment. And it would be better to have the hips square and be a little lower and safer than worrying about getting all the way up. So in this balance, we have a couple of different options. We can stay just as we are. We could extend that leg. We could bend the knee. Maybe go out to the side. So maybe moving through your balance, and moving adds a whole new element to this. So it can be a bigger challenge to the balance. But trying to find a spot on the floor or the wall that doesn't move. And then just seeing where you want to go with your balance. Maybe even extending forward into a warrior three. If you're here with me, then keeping, those right toes pointing down, actually lower left toes, pointing down towards the floor, reaching the arms forward. And then very carefully coming back up. So again, finding whatever options make you happy this morning. And if you fall over, that's okay. Just dust yourself off and try it again. And then when you're ready, we'll come out of this side. Find a little bit of counter movement. Maybe some circles. Maybe a little twisting from side to side. And just noticing, so that leg, that side that was our supporting side, that side got a lot of strength holding us. So maybe feeling that strength into that glute. So that's a really good thing. And we'll get ready to switch to the other side, starting first with our base, rooting down through the feet. We have to have a strong foundation. And we'll softly bend that supporting leg, bend that knee, and finding a deeper bend into the right knee. Arms can be a prayer, out alongside the body. And we'll start to find our perfect place on this side, not needing both sides to look the same. So if one side is stronger at balancing than the other, then allowing that, just honoring that side and maybe choosing options that fit that side. And if you have a side that likes to balance less, maybe giving that side a little more attention. Maybe giving it a second try. So that you can maybe, over time, even those two sides of the body out. And again, moving through any variation that fits this side. Today is not my balance day, apparently. And that's okay. So we honor those things, and we can just laugh at ourselves, not needing to be perfect. Maybe trying again if we fell over. Woo. So shaking that out. And knowing that it's okay if we're not perfect. Remembering that this is always, always our yoga practice. So if we bobble or fall, we'll just try it again. So after our balance, we'll give ourselves a little shake, shaking out any tension we created in that balance. And coming back into one last mountain pose, finding all the strength, all the stability, all the power, all the confidence that we want to harness. And then knowing that we can take all of those qualities with us off the yoga mat. Inhaling, lifting, palms touch overhead. And then with an exhale, we'll dive forward. Bringing hands down to the floor, coming onto hands and knees, and then onto our bottoms. We'll extend the legs forward. We're going to come actually into a staff pose. So staff pose got its name not because of our legs, but really because of our spine. So thinking of your spine as the staff. And you can choose to sit up on a block if you'd like a little lift. For some of us, then we might want another block under the knees. Or if you're comfortable, you can be on the ground. But we want to make sure that we can have that straight spine. So if you find yourself falling backwards, then that would definitely be a time to sit on a block or on a sofa cushion. And we'll inhale, lifting from the tailbone to the crown of the head, thinking again about that staff, and maybe imagining there's a string coming out of the top of the head, allowing us to get a little bit taller. Knees are as bent as you need right here. Remember, you might want to place a cushion or a rolled up towel, a block underneath the knees. And we're going to first start thinking about that length. So we'll inhale here, and then as we exhale, we can crawl forward. But again, only as far as we can still keep that length in the spine. So not worrying about bubbling over just to meet our feet, thinking about extending the heart forward. Another option we have, if you have a block or actually a strap nearby or a towel, you can take that strap around the bottoms of the feet, and then finding that length in the spine, we'll inhale, and then exhaling, hinging forward. We can use our sinking breath here, so we can inhale to lift, and then exhale to come forward, maybe a little bit more. But remembering, anytime we need to, we can bend those knees a little deeper if we have any tightness in the hamstrings. Honoring your body, and not trying to force anything or make anything happen here. We'll check in, making sure the shoulders are relaxed. Make sure we're not up around the ears. And we'll inhale, lifting up. We're going to come now into butterfly pose. So again, this is an excellent time to sit on a block or a cushion. We'll bring the soles of the feet together. Knees can drop to the side, to whatever place feels good to you. No need to force or strain. And we'll bring hands to the ankles or anywhere along the lower legs as we lift through the spine once again. So that same lift that we had in staff pose, as we lift through the heart, relaxing shoulders. Eyes can close here, relaxing the throat and the jaw. Sending some breath into our hips and thighs. So this is a great way to open and create some openness through the hips, but also to find a stretch for the inner thighs. Making sure we're not creating any tension in the shoulders or the jaw, softening those areas, maybe wiggling the mouth around, making silly faces, nobody can see. And then one more breath right here. And as we inhale this time, bringing knees together. If the eyes are closed, we can open them. We'll come off our block or any other support we're on. Next Actually, we'll keep that block nearby if you have one. And we'll start to lower ourselves onto our back, holding onto one knee. We're turning to the side. We'll give those legs a hug once again. Rocking back and forth or side to side. Finding that massage from the earth. Bringing soles of the feet to the floor. And if you have a block nearby, I invite you to take that block. And we can lift the hips, taking the block directly underneath the sacrum. Again, if you don't have a block, a couch cushion or a rolled up towel will work here too. And for some of us, that might feel more comfortable. So if it's not comfortable having that block underneath your sacrum, by all means you can remove it. But if you have something underneath you, it might feel really nice here to be in this restorative version of bridge pose. And when we started class, at the beginning of class, we did a flowing bridge, and now we're in a restorative version. So we're allowing the body to be held, to be supported. And arms can be either alongside the body, or you can bring hands to the belly. Legs can stay here just as they are bent, or you could extend one leg, getting a stretch for the hip flexor. Some people like to do this with both legs extended. That might be too much. So if that's too much, you could bend one or both legs. And then my favorite option is actually to come into a supported version of legs up the wall, where we bring our feet up to the sky. This is a great way to reverse the flow of blood and reverse the flow of lymph. So remembering that lymph is the fluid that helps our immunity, helps move all of that out. So moving it to our lymph nodes. So our lymph system doesn't have a pump like our heart does, like our blood does. So reversing that flow by just turning our bodies upside down into this gentle inversion. Again, you might choose an opportunity to close the eyes. You could stay still, or you could add some movement, maybe scissoring the legs, or you could circle the feet, circle the ankles like we did a little while ago. So I invite you to just play around with some of those options, seeing what makes you happy right now, and it might change from day to day. So not always needing to choose the same option. We'll stay here for a few moments so you can explore and see what feels best to you. And just one or two more breaths in this position. And if you're lifted, we'll bend the knees, bringing the feet down to the floor. We'll lift our hips and take that block, sending it to the side, allowing the spine to soften back towards the earth. We're going to do a variation on a twist. So we're going to turn our bodies towards the left side into kind of a fetal position. And we'll extend the left arm on the floor. The right arm can meet it so our hands are touching and our knees are stacked. It might be appropriate to put a pillow or a towel or blanket between the thighs. So choosing whatever feels good there. And we'll keep our legs exactly where they are. And on an inhale, we'll start to lift that right arm up. Either up towards the sky, we could stay here if that's enough for the shoulders, or if you'd like, opening to any degree, but not needing that right arm to come all the way down to the floor. Finding your perfect place as we turn our chin in a direction that feels safe to the neck, allowing the heart to open towards the sky. Keeping legs to the left side as the belly and the chest and the torso spiral open to the right. Letting the breath be steady as the breath and the diaphragm massage the abdominal organs. One more breath right here. And inhaling, right arm lifts, comes back to meet the left. And we'll come through center, so maybe bring arms in towards the body, and we'll first very carefully make our way onto our backs, allowing the spine to come into neutral. And then we'll do that on the other side. So turning to our right side, finding that fetal pose, that baby pose. Left arm stacks over right. Inhaling, lifting the left arm up. And remember, we can stop right here if that's enough, or if we'd like a little more. And only if we want a little more will we bring that left arm open to any degree, not forcing that opening. Maybe turning the left, or turning our head to the left or to the right. So finding a comfortable position for the neck, honoring what your neck is telling you right now. As we let the mind and the body slow down a little bit. Letting the breath slow down a little bit as well. Taking just one or two more breaths right here. And then coming out of this with inhale. Bringing that left arm up and then all the way back over to the right. Coming back to center. And we're finding ourselves back at where we started. Excuse me. So any position that you'd like, knees could be bent, maybe even having feet wider than the knees this time, coming into constructive rest, or we could come into more of a traditional Shavasana with the feet wider than the hips, letting the feet flop out to the sides, arms flop out to the side, walking those shoulders underneath the chest. And then as we just allow everything to slow back down, letting go of any last bit of holding or gripping. And giving ourselves permission to relax once again. choosing to stay here in Shavasana if you have the time, or otherwise preparing to come out of it, we can start to bring some movement to the body. Wiggling the toes and the fingers. Bending the knees to roll to one side into baby pose. Using our hands to help us lift, coming back into a comfortable seat. Growing tall once again, so finding that length in the spine as we hold onto a sense of relaxation. Inhaling, we'll bring arms overhead with the thumbs to the forehead for good thoughts, to the lips for good words, and to the hearts for good intentions. The divine light in me honors the divine light in you. Namaste. Thank you so much for allowing me to lead your practice today. I wish you health and happiness. Namaste.